and welcome to Masking for It, the podcast with a purpose, combining clinical insight with lived experience. Join us as we explore the realities of high-masking neurodivergent adults, debunk myths around autism and ADHD, and challenge outdated and harmful systems as we discuss the ways we can help neurodivergent people not just survive, but thrive. We're here so that the hidden can feel seen, the confused can find clarity, and the future can be different, because it needs to be. You can help us massively by following or subscribing, and in return, we can continue to bring you along behind the scenes with expert guests, pioneering research, and the chance to say you were a part of the change that we're creating. So, let's do this.
Welcome to our little Christmas bit of our podcast. I've been given the job of being host for this little bit, so I'm very, very excited. And hopefully we'll actually stay on track and talk about what we're supposed to be doing instead of other random stuff like my dog's Christmas bandana and the light that keeps going out. So, welcome. And I suppose we don't need to ask how everyone is because we've just hopped on just for a little bit of Christmasness. We're going to look forward and ask how everyone's going to manage over Christmas. And how about you, Alexandra? Let's go to you first, because you just told us something that most people would expect is really not the case, that you love Christmas, you love the change, and you're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I absolutely love Christmas. So every year I just find it really exciting getting the decorations out. Everything's sparkly, everything's cozy, everything's, twinkly lights. So I suppose I'm more sensory seeking out of the autistics, and I don't know if having ADHD as well probably encourages some of that, because as soon as there's the Christmas music on and gorgeous smelly candles and all the food that just smells better, tastes better, it's just a time of year which breaks away from the sort of mundane routine and is sort of based around having fun and magic as a child. And I think those things sort of stick with you, and it feels like a little bit of escape from reality. And there's stress going on, can't take away from that. Every year, maybe it gets a bit more stressful as an adult, and you realise why your mum was tearing her hair out when you were a child. But I think the overall thing is, even if you're having a really rubbish day, you can escape with something, whether it's a Christmas movie, whether it's a song, whether it's something that's just a bit nostalgic and there to be enjoyed. I think I really like that departure from the everyday. It's definitely a good thing for ADHD, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, you need to regulate and have your downtime at the same time. I think it's just a bit about balance, perhaps.
So a bit of energy accounting.
Yes, which I'm not so good at. But I think that's just a bit of a contrast, perhaps, to lots of the low-key Christmas ideas, which are just as valid for other neurodivergents. But that actually the enjoyment and the excitement isn't spoken about so much. But there's lots of different ways to do it, isn't there? That's the whole point of neurodivergence. Lots of differences.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why we've got to ask, isn't it? What is it for you that makes Christmas easier? If we're working with someone or we've got a neurodivergent family member, I know in our house, one of the things is there's no expectation to come and sit at the table and eat Christmas dinner with everyone, or even to come down at all. Not that we don't want people down, but it's about not being judged for doing what you need, isn't it? And how about you, Gail? What are you looking forward to, and what would you think is helpful for neurodivergent people that you know?
I'm not neurodivergent, but I'm just looking forward to it being over with, I think. I do like Christmas, but I find there's so much stress and build up and pressure And I think, yeah, it just exaggerates kind of family dynamics and all those things as well, doesn't it? And so I look forward to that pressure going, and also the moments of just doing random silly stuff, really, that actually aren't particularly festive. But I think one of my favourite memories from recent years is me and my son having a water fight on Boxing Day outside.
Oh,
How did that happen then? How
I'm
did you
not
get into
entirely
water fight on
sure.
Boxing Day?
I'm not entirely, I think we were playing in the garden, and then suddenly the water pistols came out, and yeah, so we got soaked each other outside. But it was a lot of fun. Very invigorating.
I'm sure. I was thinking that must have been chilly.
Where is it that they do that swim on Boxing Day and everyone jumps into the sea?
I think that's up
In
my way. There's
Scotland.
one off, is it King Edward's Bay, or is it off of Bamborough?
Yeah, I think it is a bit of a tradition, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe, Gail, you could turn that into a sea swim as he gets older.
Yeah, it's a bit of a distance, isn't it? Maybe a park run. That's more
Yeah, that's sensible.
more achievable. Yeah, so I think I do prefer a kind of low key, no pressure affair, but I do enjoy being around people that love Christmas as well, because that's infectious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting though when you say it like, all the family dynamics and stressful things. Maybe actually that's why things become so much more meaningful, because you just get into that fantasy and escape, and it's a really positive thing.
And it sounds like making happy memories as well, especially with little ones, is really important. I think one of the things I really love about Christmas is that I've got a Christmas tree that's covered in the most random baubles that I've gathered over the years of my children growing up. And every year when we put it all on the tree, it's not one of them designer, like pink and silver situations. It's just random stuff, but it's really lovely to look at the bauble that, it was someone made when they were 5 or 4, or we've got, laminated stars and things that have just, you wouldn't think they were necessarily something you would buy in a shop, but really precious memories of lots of that, just letting your hair down and spending time together as a family. And I think that's sometimes, I think people assume perhaps that Christmas is not great for autistic people, but for people who hate school, it is a time to be at home and be allowed to be at home, isn't it? And relax and play and be silly. And I suppose that's the central tenet of play therapy, is to let your guard down and be playful. And that is a really good way of reducing anxiety and trauma. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that school changed so much when it was leading up to Christmas, and to me, it was the only time I half enjoyed it, because the classroom looked better. We got to decorate it. We got to do, the little word searches and little crafts. And it just wasn't as rigid. It wasn't as monotonous. There wasn't all the pressure and expectation as usual. And I think, especially when I know loads of my friends, little ones at the minute, are just exhausted because it's the end of the year. It's some children's first term ever in a school environment. So I think those opportunities for play and having a different relationship with your peers, because you're doing different activities, and that routine is out the window. In a way, my ADHD loved, but I realize for a lot of autistic people, that lack of routine could really trip them up, couldn't it? And if they're overwhelmed and tired from a long term, that could be slightly more problematic. So what are some low-key Christmas ideas that either of you would recommend, if that's more the case for somebody?
I think one of the things I hear a lot is about the school play. People not wanting to have the photo taken, not wanting to be looked at by everyone. And the amount of times I've heard people say, well, you're letting your class down if you're not in the play. When actually you could be the spotlight person or the button presser for the music, or you could be the costume designer. You could do loads of things that make a play. You don't all have to be on the stage looking like you're happy when you're not. And I remember being the innkeeper's wife for my first nativity play. Like, how sexist is that? I didn't even have a career. I wasn't even allowed to talk. I didn't have a career. I had to say, I had to go. When Mary and Joseph came, I had to go. My husband, who's the innkeeper, who I can't remember who it was, looked at me and I had to go. That was all I was allowed to say. I was non-speaking innkeeper's wife. And it's like, actually, I didn't enjoy it at all. And I don't mind doing stuff like that, but just being forced to stand up in front of people, that is like, all this time of year, for a lot of children who are neurodivergent, is the idea of hell, isn't it? I think we need to be a little bit mindful that some people just can't tolerate that, and that is okay, but you don't have to be excluded from the process.
I love what you've said about the other roles that are there, actually, because we worked on a film a couple of years ago now. Actually, it's behind the scenes. There's so many talents and so many other roles and things going on. I think that's a fantastic idea that you can still feel a part of it, even behind the scenes and off stage.
Yeah. If you think about how many film directors and producers and lighting people or designers are actually neurodivergent.
Oh yeah, big talent.
Yeah, and being an innkeeper's wife never got me anywhere. Well, look where it's got me now.
Look at you now.
Wrapping all the presents.
Well, I was the angel Gabriel, and I had to learn nearly an A4 side at the age of, I think I must have been about 5 or 6. But I was in my element. I had my tinsel halo, I was in front of everyone. I got to open the play, and I loved it. And I want to channel that confidence again one day, because little me was a lot more confident than big me.
Yeah, that was when you were appreciated for being who you are at that point.
Yeah, I loved that. But yeah, funny the differences, isn't it?
Yeah. What do you remember being in anything, Gail?
Oh yeah, I've had various roles. I think I was elevated to Mary one year.
Oh,
yeah. I was also an angel. Yeah.
Very high profile, Gail is. We didn't know, Alexandra. We were working with such an
no. Are we
I
worthy?
really,
I mean,
I don't really remember anything beyond that, though. Interestingly,
not the peak.
Obviously blanked it out completely.
Hey, that's amazing.
So from a sensible perspective, and we're thinking about people probably who haven't got ADHD, perhaps who are more likely to struggle with the difference of Christmas. What do you think, Gail? What can we put on the list of things to be aware of?
I think kind of anything that is potential for overstimulation in terms of like lots of music or lots of twinkly lights or flashing lights or those kinds of things, and kind of being mindful around foods and, you know, introducing new foods or the expectation to eat certain food. Like I have an annual conversation with my mother-in-law about why I don't eat sprouts, and you know, my mum still gives me a sprout every Christmas.
You're still on just the one sprout? Are you building up to two?
Yeah.
Do you eat one sprout?
Yeah, because it's part of the tradition now there.
I couldn't. I'm not that strong.
Yeah.
No.
So is sprouts the central issue?
Yeah.
For anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just those. It's examining your expectations, isn't it? And thinking, well, actually, do we need to do it this way? Does the Christmas music need to be on all of the time, or do we have to have the flashing cycle on the lights outside or on the Christmas tree? Or
my neighbours, honest to God, every year, it's like strobe city. It's really annoying.
I wish I had your neighbours. We've got fields, so it's all very, very bare.
Our neighbours have got like they the lights are slightly orange tinge and they flash, so it looks like there's a bin lorry permanently coming past our house.
I think that's what they were going for.
Possibly.
I do also think blue lights should be illegal because they're just wrong.
Blue, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit naff, isn't it?
I don't know who said that was okay. The penguins. I don't know who's introduced that.
Yeah, it should be puffins and that's
Puffins.
the thing. That's geographically correct.
What was the puffin analogy, Gail? Was it you were?
Yeah, so
talking
it's something I've seen online where somebody's talking about how penguins are in the South Pole and Santa's in the North Pole. So how come penguins have suddenly got involved in Christmas? And surely it should be puffins because that's the birds that are in the North Pole. So, but yeah, and then it's linked to somebody talking in an autism assessment, which made me chuckle.
So I suppose it comes full circle, doesn't it, to the puffin analogy?
Yeah.
Autistic people with ADHD. If we imagine puffins as being the neurodivergent birds, they are actually the star of Christmas, but no one's acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Stolen by penguins.
Yeah.
I'm a big penguin fan, so I can't be angry. But
Expectations around Christmas. I think one of the things that's really important is that people who don't do all the gushing, like, oh, thank you, that was wonderful, who, just trying to get on with it quietly, I think sometimes misconstrued as rude. I think some people struggle to open presents in front of people, or to maybe do that sitting around and opening presents together, or hugging visitors, people coming around invading your house. Come down and say hello to Uncle Joe. Oh, give Uncle Joe a hug. All of that expectation. It's almost like permission giving, isn't it? To say it's okay not to do that, and if you don't feel able, then we know you're not being rude. We're not assuming that you're being rude.
Yeah. And actually choosing who you explain stuff to as well, that actually you don't have to explain to people, do you? You can just, that's what works in our family, or that's what works for us. So we're not doing it that way, and that's okay. You don't owe anybody an explanation, do you? You've got to do what's right for you.
Oftentimes, I certainly find this, if there's pressure to do things, it's harder to do them. So if there might be circumstances where the whole family wants you to behave like this and do these things, and that would actually just make it 10 times harder. If that expectation wasn't there, it would probably be so much easier. If one year, everybody just didn't mention something, or didn't suddenly say, no, you need to do this, maybe families could just experiment a bit with actually not saying it. And then you might find that the person gravitates towards it themselves and are then actually able to find what's enjoyable about it because it's not expected of them. And so they can try it out and see, and then be able to participate. I think that's a big thing that can change what we're able to do.
I think the opposite extreme as well that I've ever come across is somebody who actually has Christmas all year round in their house. Someone I used to work with, an autistic young man with learning disability, would not let his mum take the Christmas tree down at all.
Good
One
for
year
him.
it didn't come down, and it's now permanently up. And I think that happens a little bit more than people admit, but
Yeah.
I think the Christmas twinkly lights are nice, aren't they? I'm not sure I could cope with my memory tree up the whole year, but yeah, some twinkly lights, that'll do.
You have to dust it. How do you dust a tree?
I don't have to dust anything, to be honest. I don't know about.
Oh, no, twinkly lights, as far as I'm concerned, make everything better. I'd love that all year round.
Yeah.
But, I think if people can just manage their own needs a bit and regulate, then I think that helps them look after everyone else at the same time, because the problem is, I think, so often you're all together and you're all stressed, and then it just chips away at everyone a bit, doesn't it? Whoever you are, whichever family you are, neurodivergent or not. And it's one of those things as well, when there's expectation, I think it's harder, because you want everything to go a certain way. If you just let go, that's probably the biggest gift you can give yourself. Just letting a day be a little more. And maybe we all need a bit of a reminder with that, because when you hold on to wanting things to be a certain way, kind of setting yourself up for disappointment. But actually, things may turn out a bit different sometimes, and actually might be a bit better than you expected even. But if you're holding on to one thing, that tends to make things quite difficult.
Mm.
Um,
And I think that's perpetuated by lots of adverts on the telly leading up to Christmas, all these perfect family tables. There's no one arguing, no one's fallen asleep. No, it's all perfect, isn't it? And I suppose one of the things about knowing that you're neurodivergent is knowing what you might need and then giving yourself permission to
mhm,
self-care. And I
mhm.
think women in particular struggle to self-care at Christmas because it's busy. But I think that's okay. Neurodivergent or not, self-care is really important, isn't it?
Yeah, use that
Absolutely.
body care pack that you've been given for the 5th year in a row.
Yeah.
Just get into it. Get the bath
We
bomb
got
out.
Yeah, and wallow
Yeah,
of it. Mm. And
yeah.
with that in
Just
mind, I think we're gonna have a little break from recording while we do a bit of meddling with our podcast, aren't we? And a bit of self-care because we all have a little bit of a rest as well. So, but
yeah.
yeah, I think we're living it, aren't we? As well as talking
Yeah.
about it, hopefully.
Practicing what we preach, hopefully.
Mm.
There we go. No, thank you so much for being with us this year, and Merry Christmas, however that looks for you. My auntie and uncle with their kids have a Chinese takeaway every year. So it can be whatever you want, just as long as you enjoy yourselves and look after yourselves.
Yeah, and you too as well.
Yeah.
Yes, both
Mhm.
of you. Thank you. Take care of yourself. Merry
Yeah,
Christmas.
you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye. That is all for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you come back next time. Please follow or subscribe so that you don't miss a thing. And if you'd like even more of us, you can go over to www.maskingforit.com and find more episodes and blogs on our website, which get into some nitty-gritty detail because we do love that. And you can also get in touch with us if there's something that we haven't covered, or you have any questions or something about your experience that you'd like to share, then please send that to us via email. Is contact@maskingforit.com, or any of our socials, which are @maskingforitpodcast. We'd love to hear from you, and thank you so much for being here as we bring the conversation out to the real big world to see if we can change it just that little bit. Thank you so much for being a part of it, and we'll see you next time.